Hello and welcome to Pixel Magic Tutorials. I am your host Geekman, and today we're going to learn how to create a striped wallpaper effect in Photoshop, starting with a photo, any photo that you want. Now, a couple of assumptions that I need to get out of the way right off the bat. Number one, I am using Photoshop CC 2018. If you're using an earlier version of Photoshop, some of the effects may not work as expected. Second, I am using Windows. So if you're using a Mac, when I say hit the Control key on the keyboard, that's the Command key. And when I say hit the Alt key on the keyboard, that's the Option key. So with all of that out of the way, let's get started by hitting Control N on the keyboard to bring up the new image dialog box. Let's name this Stripe Wallpaper, because that's what we're making. And let's do our width of 3,840 pixels, height of 2,160 pixels, resolution is 150 pixels per inch. Color mode is RGB, 8-bit. Background contents doesn't matter. We're going to change that. Our color profile is going to be sRGB, and our pixel aspect ratio is square pixels. Hit create. We're now ready to begin. Now I have a link in the description below where you can download the same photo that I'm starting with, but feel free to use any photo that you like the colors in, because this works with any photo that you could imagine. Okay, so let's bring in the photo just by dragging it in or opening it up in Photoshop and then copying over the layer into this. And then you want to stretch it so that it fills from left to right. Doesn't matter if it fills from top to bottom, just from left to right is the important thing. Once it does, hit enter on your keyboard and then you have your photo in. Now, this is a nice photo of flowers that I found. I am going to choose a 1 pixel high piece of this image that's 1 pixels high from the left all the way to the right. Okay, and the way that I can do that very simply and easily is by using my marquee tool, but a specific type of it. So if you go up here to the marquee tool and you click and drag out, you'll see a single row marquee tool. So you click on that, and then wherever I click on this image, you're going to get a single row from left to right, single pixel high. Selection. So I kind of like right about here-ish, I think, right here maybe. Let's see. How about right here-ish? This looks pretty good. No, that's too much blue. Let's go way down here. Let's do this one. Click like so. Okay, I get some pinks. No, let's go right here-ish. I get some of the pinks, some of the browns, some of the greens. It's pretty nice, I think, right there, or maybe right here. Oh, I get some of that yellow. So we like that. Let's go with that. And you can see every time I click, it changed where it was, but it was always 1 pixel high all the way from the left all the way to the right. Okay, and that's what we want. Once you have chosen your 1 pixel high piece of your image, then you want to hit Control C on the keyboard to copy that, then Control V on the keyboard to paste a new layer with that 1 pixel selection. Once you have that, you can turn off your flowers and your background. You don't need it anymore. Then you want to hit Control T on the keyboard to bring up your transform tool, and then you want to grab the top and you want to pull that all the way up like so, and then you want to grab the bottom and pull it all the way down like so, and that will fill your screen with these lovely stripes. And then you want to hit enter to accept that, and there is your beautiful stripes. And you didn't have to do any real work on this. Okay, and again, that works with any photo that you can imagine. Okay, now that we have our striped background, you can stop here if that's what you like, but I'm going to show you a quick and easy way to turn this into kind of a curved background that forms a flat floor, and then will cascade down again as if it were a wall with a shelf, kind of. Okay, so what we're going to do that, first of all, we can get rid of our image and our background. We don't need those anymore, so you select them both and then drag them down to the garbage icon down there, and then all you have left is your stripes. Once you have that, what you're going to do is you're going to duplicate that by hitting Control J twice on your keyboard to create copies. Okay, and then what we're going to do is rename them. We're going to name the bottom one bottom. I think you know where this is going. The middle one here is going to be middle, and the top here we're going to name top. Now, you don't have to do this. I do it just to make it easier for everyone out there to follow, and because I like my layers palette to be nice and neat, so when I come back to an image, I know exactly what it is that I'm working with. Okay, so now that we have our stripes and we're very happy with the way that they look, let's say, then what we want to do is we want to turn our middle into a shelf and our bottom into the front wall of that shelf. Okay, now the way that we're going to do that is we're going to select our top layer right here. We're going to turn off our bottom and our middle. Okay, and you can do this in many different ways if you wanted, but a simple and easy way is to just turn on your rulers. If you don't see them, go to View and snap on Rulers right here with a little check mark. Okay, and then you want to click on the topmost ruler right there, click and drag, and then you want to put a line, let's say right about here-ish, and that's going to be the back wall. Okay, then you want to click and drag out another one, and you want to make it the front wall, let's say right about here-ish. Okay, there we go. We now have our top wall, or back wall, I should say. Our shelf will be right here, and then the front wall will be right here. Okay, so on our top layer, we need to get rid of this bottom part because it's going to be the top back wall. So you want to go back to your marquee tool, which is M on the keyboard, and you can see that it changed back to our regular rectangular marquee, or you can click here and pull out the rectangular marquee tool. Okay, and then you want to just select this portion right here, and make sure that you're not feathering it all and that the style is normal and that you're doing a new selection. Okay, once you have all of that, then all you have to do is hit delete on your keyboard and you get rid of the parts that you don't need. Then turn off the top, turn on the middle, and yes, you want just the middle here. So you want to click right down here and you want to make sure that it snaps up there. And once you have that, actually, let's do it in reverse. Let's select this top part right here. Okay, and delete, and then we want to select the bottom part right here, and we're going to delete like so. And now we have our middle. Then we're going to do the same thing for the bottom, but we're going to get rid of everything that's up on top. So we're going to select and drag all the way down to the bottom line, just like that. Hit delete, and we now have our 3 layers. So we can get rid of our guides right here by going up here to view, and let's go to clear guides right there. No more guides. And then we can turn back on our top and our middle. And you can see that there's no break except you can't see any line breakage right there. That's very important for the effect to work. Okay, so now what we need to do is zoom out a little bit so we can see more of the blank area around our canvas. So you can do that by using the zoom tool and then holding down Alt and zooming out like so. And doing that. Now you might see what looks like a little break here, but once we zoom back in, you can see that that doesn't actually exist. Okay, so ignore it. It's just Photoshop trying to show you where things are, and it's making the pixels smaller and smaller as it goes. Okay, so now we've got to select our middle layer here, and we need to use Control-T on the keyboard like so to transform that. Now, what we want to do is you want to grab this bottom right or bottom left handle right here, okay, like that. And you want to hold down all 3 of Control, Alt, and Shift, okay, and you see that the arrow changed to this kind of white arrow with a black outline. And then if you click on that and you pull it out, it will stretch out like this, forming a floor. And depending on how far you go, that's how flat the floor will seem. Okay, and I kind of like it somewhere around here. You can choose however you'd like, however big you would like. And then you can let go and you are done with that. Hit Enter on the keyboard and that will accept the change. Now the problem, of course, is that the bottom no longer matches. It still matches the background, so it doesn't look right. And we can fix that by selecting our bottom layer like so, hitting Control-T again on the keyboard to transform it, and then grab the left and the right handle here, and you can just click and drag that out until it snaps right like that. Okay, and then we got to drag this side out just like that, and it will snap. And now, as you can see, if I hit Enter, it now matches. And if we zoom in, there's no break, and everything lines up perfectly. Okay, and that is the basics of this. Now, what we're going to do is add in a little bit of layer style to our top, middle, and bottom in order to make this back corner here look curved instead of being a straight corner, and the front corner here look curved instead of being a straight corner. And we'll also give this floor a little bit of a shadow so that it looks more in the shadow than the walls do, because that would be where the light's hitting, and this would be where light is not hitting as hard. Okay, so that's what we're going to do next. So we're going to select our top layer, and we're going to give this some layer effects. So let's select that, go down to our layer effects, and the one that we're going to do is going to be an inner shadow. Okay, and the inner shadow is going to be a blend mode of overlay. It's going to be white, which is all zeros, all Fs, as you can see. Then opacity here is going to be at 40. Let's make this 40. Okay, and our angle here is going to be at negative 90. Then we're going to do 20 for distance. Choke is 0. Size is going to be 25. Linear is going to be the contour, which is the default. Anti-alias is unchecked. Noise is going to be 0. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to give this a drop shadow. Okay, and the blend mode that we're going to use is going to be overlay. Our color is going to be all Fs again, so white. And the opacity that we're using here is going to be at 40. So let's change this to 40. Like so. Then the angle that we're using here is going to be at 90. Then it's going to be a distance of 40, spread of 0. Size is going to be at 35. Linear, anti-alias is off, and noise is going to be 0. Hit OK, and as you can see, our back wall now looks like it's curving to match, to run into our bottom. Okay, then what we want to do is we want to go to our middle layer like this, and we want to hit the effects here, and what we're going to do is we're going to do an inner shadow again. Okay, so our inner shadow here is going to be overlay. It's still going to be white. The opacity here is going to be at 50, like so. Angle is going to be at negative 90. Then we're going to have our distance of 20, choke of 0, and our size of 25. Contour is going to be linear. Anti-alias is unchecked. Noise is going to be 0. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to do a gradient overlay like so. And our blend mode is going to be multiply. Dither is off. Opacity is going to be at 15%. The gradient that we're using is going to be this guy right here, which is black-white. Reverse is going to be unchecked. Align with layer will be checked. Our style is going to be reflected. Okay, angle is going to be 90. Scale is going to be 100. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to give this also a drop shadow like so. And our blend mode is going to be overlay. Color is going to be white again. Opacity will be, once again, 50, not 40. So let's make that 50. Our angle is going to be at 90 degrees. Then we're going to make this 40. We're going to make our spread 0. We're going to make our size 35. Contour is going to be linear. Anti-alias is unchecked. Noise is going to be 0. Okay, that is all good. Then on our bottom layer, what we're going to do is make the front of it a little bit darker. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to gradient overlay there also. So go back to gradient overlay. And what we're going to do is make this multiply. We're going to make dither unchecked. Opacity here will be at 50. Okay, we're going to continue to use black and white. Reverse is unchecked. Align with reverse is checked, sorry. And instead of being reflected, we're going to make that linear like so. And our angle here is going to be at negative 90. So let's put in a negative there like so. And our scale is going to be at 100%. Hit OK, and we are now done with this effect in its entirely. And as you can see, this looks pretty darn cool, and it's pretty simple and pretty quick and pretty easy. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up, and subscribe. I do new tutorials every Tuesday. And once again, this is Geekman signing off for Pixel Magic Tutorials.